Greetings and hello, Waynesville Yoga family. How are you? Welcome. My name is Renee, and this class is Flow and Align. So for today's practice, we are going to do a mindful, slow, functional alignment-based practice utilizing some traditional yin postures to help us work towards a specific posture. And the posture that I've chosen for today's class is Hanuman. So for those who are not familiar with Hanuman, it's essentially a front split. And so all of the postures that we're going to be practicing today are going to work on warming up our body and getting our body to that particular posture. Now, by no means is the expectation that you're going to get into a full front split by the end of this class. That's not the goal here. That's not the purpose. The purpose of this class, as with the whole Flow and Align series, is to help you move from one level to another and utilizing your body and functional alignment postures and everything to help you work smarter, not harder, and prep your body for those movements. So that's the purpose of this class today, and it is the hope and intention that you return to this practice again and again as you continue your journey towards full Hanuman, and utilize these postures to really help prep your body, as well as, these are going to be postures that come up again and again in your yoga practice. So you'll continue to deepen and advance in those poses as well. So in the spirit of the class, again, flow and align, moving from one level to another, one thing I always bring up are props. Now, I highly recommend them, particularly in functional classes like this one, because they're gonna really help you focus your body and find your body within a particular pose. It's gonna help you do things like bring the floor up, or help you settle into something a little deeper. And so then you can start to find that naturally. And then as you progress in your practice, you can start to move away from those things and not rely on the props to help you find those expressions of the poses. Now, all of that being said, of course, this is yoga, this is your class, this is your practice. Make it yours. So if you prefer not to use props, no problem. But again, it's recommended, and especially in classes like this when you're trying to train your body and move it, I just suggest having them at least on hand so you can pick and choose those instances you'd like to use them. So we're going to be using some today. Some poses we're going to use them for, some we're not. But again, utilize this practice, make it your own, and help you find your full Hanuman. All right, so before we get started, as I mentioned, props. I always like to have the big three on hand, and I'll go through this very quickly. And I call these the big three props because they are ones that can be used in just about every pose, and they're really great and flexible and alternative. There's a lot of props out there that you're more than welcome to use. There's wedges, there's wheels, there's eggs, there's all kinds of different things. But I find that these three are useful, they're handy, they're readily available, and they have really great substitutes if you don't have the actual props on hand. And so those are, starting with our standard traditional yoga blanket. Wonderful, wonderful prop for cushioning. You can roll it up and make a neck roll. If you want just a little tiny bit of height, the yoga blanket is great for that. Or you can fold a couple up if you don't want to get as high as, say, a bolster, which is our second prop we're going to focus on today. So bolsters are, just really wonderful, sturdy cushions that can really give you height and lift. And I highly recommend having one around. They're really great for a variety of things. If you don't have a bolster handy, if you don't have a traditional bolster handy, a sofa cushion I recommend will substitute well. And I say a sofa cushion just because you want something sturdy. You don't want a really soft pillow like your typical pillow that you sleep on. They're just going to be too soft, and they're not going to give you that height and lift and stability that you want from a bolster. So if you don't have a bolster, couch cushion is fine. And then of course our yoga blocks. Wonderful, versatile tools, and they can really basically substitute for the bolster, even in some instances the blanket in terms of height, right? So, but the thing you want to keep in mind with yoga blocks is that they are firm, so you want to make sure that if you're utilizing a substitute of same height and size, that it's something that is sturdy, that's going to be able to support you if you put your weight down on it. But you're also free to use these to sit on, to, help prop you up, really, really great for length and support. So yoga blocks. And those are the big three. They're super, super versatile, super, super handy for any yoga practice, any level yoga practice. And then lastly, the last thing I'll mention before we get started here today is music. I do not have music available during our video courses, but if you have a playlist or some type of variety of music that helps move and fuel you during your practice, I highly recommend having that playing alongside. I love music. I'm a big proponent of it. So definitely if you come to my live classes, you'll see that I love to do really great playlists and have a lot of fun with music. So I don't have it here today, but you're more than welcome to have it as something that accompanies your practice. And I just also recommend that at the end we'll do a short guided relaxation to accompany our shavasana. So I recommend that you have whatever device or remote control or whatever handy, so then you can just turn your music down very quickly and be able to hear my voice at the end of the practice to lead you into that guided relaxation and then into the final rest. Wonderful. So let's go ahead and get started with our practice today, our journey to Hanuman. So we are going to begin in Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're going to be laying reclined in Supta Baddha Konasana, knees open. Now you have a couple of options here. So you are welcome to, if you'd like, have a little bit of a cushion underneath your back to help, to give a little arch in the back if you'd like, or you can roll up your blanket and utilize your blanket as a neck roll, either way. But come on down to your back and then bring the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to fall out to the side. As we settle in here, go ahead and get comfy, find your way into this posture, and just allow, this is a nice, wonderful passive stretch. So just allow those knees to fall open, and it's okay if they don't reach the ground. Everybody's level of rotation is different. So for some, they're going to go all the way to the ground. For some, they're not going to quite reach there. If it is uncomfortable for you, if your knees do not touch the ground and it's uncomfortable for you, grab your blocks, and you can set your blocks up on the side to kind of help support your legs. So you can lay in this position for a little while. And you're welcome to bring one hand to your belly, maybe one hand to your heart. And just take a moment here to just close your eyes. Breathe deeply and center in and focus on your breath. Beautiful, nice, long, deep inhales and warming, lengthy exhales. And if it feels right, go ahead and take a couple of deep cleansing breaths. So nice, deep, strenuous inhales, and then a nice, loud, audible exhale. So if that calls to you. Sometimes it's helpful to sort of release that little bit of pent-up energy and excitement that we have as we're beginning our practice. As you close your eyes and focus in on your natural breath, take time here to set an intention for today's practice. It could be something you want to accomplish by the end, something that will help motivate you and move you during your practice, maybe something that you want to accomplish before the day is over, or the week or the month. Whatever that may be, just go ahead and take a few moments here. Find your intention and repeat it to yourself. On your next inhale, go ahead and raise your arms up over your head and just bring your hands back behind your head and above, so that you've got like a nice diamond shape in your arm configuration that matches the diamond shape of your legs. And again, just welcome in this passive inner thigh stretch. Beautiful. And as you settle in and release any, to-do lists and any of that, let's go ahead and begin to bring your knees together. Bring your hands back down. And then go ahead and take your left leg long. I've got a bolster down here, a half bolster. Just move that out of the way if you have any props at the end of your mat. Stretch your left leg long and bring your right knee into your chest. Beautiful. Go ahead and loop your hand behind that knee so you get a nice deep stretch. And then take your left leg and just lift it off the ground just a little bit of height there, and just stretch it on out. Beautiful. Hold here and breathe. Excellent. Starting to warm up those hip flexors, warming up our quads. Our lower abs, our lower back, and preparing our body. Beautiful. Go ahead and lower that left leg down to the ground and take your right hand and take your right leg out to the side. Just knee is still bent. Just a nice gentle stretch here. And warming up this area. Beautiful. Few breaths here. Nice, long, deep holds. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring that knee back to center and give it another squeeze up. And bring that knee in deep towards that armpit. Stretch it out. Breathe in here. On your next exhale, go ahead and release those feet back to the floor. Beautiful. Now repeating on the other side, stretch, and just take a moment here and just notice how different the two sides of the body feel. I love to bring awareness to the changes our bodies make just that quickly. All right, so go ahead and take that right leg long and bring that left leg into the chest. Grab behind and really stretch deep. Breathe here for a couple breaths. Feel that stretch. Feel the muscles lengthen as they warm up and the blood flow comes into those muscles. Beautiful. Now go ahead and lift that right leg off the floor just a little bit. Just a little deeper and hold. Beautiful. Breathe into it. Excellent. Now go ahead and release that right leg down to the floor. And then go ahead and release that knee. And then take your left arm and press down on that leg and open up that knee to the side. Breathe here. Beautiful job. Couple more breaths here. And go ahead and bring that knee back to center. Give it another squeeze and really pull it into that armpit. Excellent. Really pull, pull, pull. Squeeze, 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 and breathe into it. Beautiful. And go ahead, bring the foot back down. And on your next inhale, go ahead and begin to slowly roll up to about a half seat. And so you're still kind of tilted here on your sits bones. And just take a minute here to come into a boat. And if you'd like, you can hold your boat here supported, or you can begin to go through one of the variation progressions to just get a little ab strengthener in here. And then also, in addition to warming and strengthening the abs, we're also strengthening our quads as well, getting a nice contraction of the muscle there. Beautiful. And remember, keep in mind, keep a nice long line of energy up and down the back. You want to make sure you're not hunching over, because then you're going to lose that core strengthening aspect, right? You want to make sure that Because even here, if you've got a nice long line of energy here, even here holding the supported, you're still getting that good core work. You can just take it up a level and intensify if you find you need to. Beautiful. Come on up. Nice deep breath here. I'm going to turn this way, and if you'd like, you can bring a folded blanket or something to raise up the hips for our next posture, which is bound angle pose. So for bound angle, again, sometimes it's nice to have a little lift in the hips. Now, if you find that your knees are really, really high up, you'll want to kind of continue to increase that lift of the hips so you can find that posture, that position that's going to allow you to get the deepest stretch available. Beautiful. And so here with bound angle, you want to take your hands and just grab the insoles of the arch of your feet. Then you want to have a nice straight back. Inhale up. And then as you exhale, take your elbows and press them down on your knees. Beautiful. And breathe here. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale to come down a little farther. Everybody's going to have a different range of motion here. So everybody's got a different level of external rotation. So don't worry about what it looks like. Worry about what it feels like. Focus on how your body feels. That's the spirit of yoga. It's not about what you look like on Instagram or whatever. It's about how you feel inside, and really focus in on lengthening that spine and deepening that stretch, deepening that opening here in the inner thighs. Beautiful. Breathe here. Excellent. And as you sink into this posture longer and longer, you're going to find that you can continue to move forward a little bit. So I encourage you to investigate that a little bit and see if you can continue to bring those knees closer to the floor while continuing to lengthen the spine out. So deep inhale to lengthen, exhale to deepen. And just when your body feels ready, as we hold this posture, as your body feels ready to continue to lengthen and deepen, go for it. Beautiful job. Breathe here. And again, remember, it's a nice long line of energy. You want to make sure you're keeping a nice straight back. I'll turn to the side here so you can see from the side, but you want to make sure that you're keeping a nice flat back as you lean forward, and that you're not rolling the back, because again, you don't want to compromise the stretch. You want to maximize what you get out of it. So when you lengthen and really find that action of all of those hip muscles and inner thigh muscles, and then deepen down. Beautiful. Then you get the full expression, the full internal expression of the pose. Beautiful. Now, sometimes you will have instructors that say you can round the back, and they're doing that for different reasons. Today we're focusing on a nice straight back, and we're focusing on lengthening and deepening. Beautiful job. Now on your next inhale, come on up. And then you're welcome to grab your bolster for this next posture. Just wide leg forward fold. So again, you can continue to stay up on your support if you're if you have a little lift from a block or from a folded blanket like myself, or you can slide off of those, whatever works for you and feels best for your body. But again, much like bound angle, we're gonna inhale to lengthen, nice straight back, and then exhale and fold down. Now this posture is really intense for your hamstrings and for your inner thighs. You can bring blocks under the knees to help you get a little bit more support out of the pose. Just find, if you find that you need it, don't feel like you have to use it under, but it can help you get a little bit more length and deepening in the pose. Beautiful. So again, lengthening on the inhale, deepening on the exhale, and you can feel free to grab those feet, ankles, or you can just bring yourself all the way down into your support, whatever feels best. But again, we're focusing on that area that's going to get us into our Hanuman. Beautiful. Introducing a little bit of the hamstring stretch here, more of the hip opening. Beautiful. And breathe here, breathe into it. And again, as with all of our other postures, you'll find that as you hold it longer, as you maintain the intensity of the stretch, you're gonna find that you can go a little bit deeper. So feel free to investigate that. Beautiful. And of course, at any time, if you're feeling anything that feels like pain, and not like just discomfort from challenging your body in the edge, but actual pain, you know, obviously feel free to back it up a little bit and re-find your position in the pose. You know, try to investigate and find that line between edge, and just find where mentally you start to get to your edge, but not cross over into something that's not healthy or well for your body. Sometimes we think our edge is pain, when in fact it may not necessarily be. But of course, you know your body best. So I encourage you to find that edge, find that space. And hold as long as you can. Give yourself permission to release at any time. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And this is your body and your wellness. So do what's best for it. Beautiful. And on your next inhale, start to walk those hands back up. Go ahead and slide your props out of the way. Keep your blocks handy, and perhaps even your blanket, because you may want to use it as a cushion. But go ahead and roll over to hands and knees. And again, if you want to utilize your blanket as a cushion, you can just fold it out here, like such, and then come up on the knees. Beautiful. And this just gives it that nice little extra padding here, because it can be a little intense for knees to be on, maybe a thin mat or a hard surface. So just take a couple of moments here and just release the back a little bit by doing some cat-cows. Inhale and drop the belly, raise the chin. Exhale, cat. Just loosening up the back, which may get a little tight from those hip stretches. Beautiful. Just inhale and exhale here to your natural breath. And introduce any organic movements if you feel you need to, come on down into child's pose and then back up and then maybe into an arch. A few times, go ahead and do that. Just fine. If you want to do some hip circles, go ahead and introduce those natural movements. Just a couple more breaths here. All knees and all fours, and just inhale, one more cat, cow. Exhale into your cat. Beautiful, and then find a neutral spine. Excellent. Now on your next inhale, go ahead and bring your right leg forward into a low lunge. And this is where your blocks are going to really be handy here. So go ahead and deepen into that lunge. Really stretch that hip flexor. Really get in there deep. Beautiful. And utilize your props. Again, bring to maximize the stretch, the alignment. Bring the floor to you if you need to. Now, some folks are more comfortable with their hands all the way down on the floor. It really is just a kind of a personal choice thing. I like using the blocks because I'm more wanting to, I find that if my core is more upright, then as opposed to being in a more 45-degree angle, I find that I get a deeper hip flexor stretch. But this is just part of this is gonna depend on your range of motion in your particular body with that particular sets of muscles. So let's breathe here. Excellent. Again, nice tight core, nice deep stretch. And the blanket really helps keep that knee nice and cushioned. A nice soft surface for it because you're really leaning into that hip, sinking into that hip. Beautiful. Breathe here. Excellent. Now on your next inhale, come back up to more of a neutral and then sink those hips back into half Hanuman. Now this stretch is directly targeted at the hamstring. So really sink those hips back, make sure hip bones are facing forward. Really sink down and focus in on that hamstring. This is where you should be feeling that stretch. If you're feeling it elsewhere, if you're feeling it in the knee, if you're feeling it in the ankle, make adjustments. Adjust your body. Beautiful. And with functional alignment, where we are purposefully, pointedly aligning our body and our muscles in a particular position to really maximize that action for that muscle we're trying to target. Beautiful. Breathe here. And again, you have the option here to lengthen on the inhale and deepen on the exhale. Beautiful. Nice flat back. Hips are nice and sunk back. Target action is in that hamstring. Breathe into it. Beautiful. Now come back up. And then go ahead and press into your block. Bring that knee back to meet the other. And just take a moment here. Just notice how the different sides of the body feel. Sink back into your child's pose for just a moment. Just releasing and neutralizing those hips for a minute. Now come back up. Go ahead and grab your blocks if you'd like. Bring that left leg forward into your low lunge. Again, find your positioning. And as you inhale, find your lunge. Contract those abs, nice straight back. Sink those hips deep. Watch the knee alignment. Make sure you're not compromising the knee. Sink into that hip. And again, the action, the stretch is in the hip flexor. If you're feeling it somewhere else, adjust, because that's not where you should be feeling it. Beautiful. Sink deep into those hips. Excellent. Breathe here. Let me hold and focus. Bring that intention back to mind if you need to. Focus in on how your body feels. Close your eyes. Often I like to, when I'm doing my own personal practice, engaging in my own personal practice, I like to close my eyes when I practice, just to really focus in on my body, how I'm feeling inside. You know, obviously in postures and in appropriate moments, when it's suitable to close the eyes. You know, you don't want to be knocking things over or accidentally falling or anything, but, you know, just trying to find yourself in the pose, focusing on what feels good. These movements are love. They're love for your body. Beautiful. On your next inhale, come back up. And then sink back into that half Hanuman stretch. And again, the target focus here is the hamstring. If you're feeling it anywhere else, make the appropriate adjustments. Remember, hip bones are facing forward. Beautiful. Remember, you can inhale here to lengthen, elongate that spine, exhale to deepen. You may want to do that a few times during the hold. As you feel that muscle begin to release and relax as you hold that stretch. Beautiful. Few more breaths here. Really sink into that hamstring. come back up. And then go ahead and press into that block. Slide your blocks out of the way. And then just go ahead and sink down in the child's pose for just a breath. Just trying to neutralize the hips here. Excellent. And come up on all fours. Then go ahead and tuck those toes and lift those hips and come up into down dog. Beautiful. And inhale that right leg up. Then exhale, bring that right leg forward into pigeon. Beautiful. Now grab your blocks if they're nearby and if you prefer. And as you sink into your pigeon, bring your body upright. We're not going into sleeping swan here. We're gonna stay upright in our pigeon. Really maximize that outer hip and hip flexor stretch as we prepare ourselves for moving into supported Hanuman. Really breathe in here, check that back foot. Now, my back foot tends to sickle, so I have to just kind of make sure I'm pointing it straight back. I always have to give my foot a double check. It's a habit I picked up somewhere along the way that I have to continually remind myself, but you know, we all have those little habits here and there in our practice. But as long as you're working on it actively and being mindful of it, making those appropriate changes when you need to, that's where the dream work is. Beautiful job. Breathe in here. Excellent. A few more breaths. I am just loving this pose right now. This feels amazing. Just breathe in here. Now on your next inhale, go ahead and slide those props out of the way. Go ahead and bring yourself back up to your hands and knees. And then from here, come back into your lunge. And come into your low lunge. Just for a moment. And then dip back into your half Hanuman. And then here, go ahead and begin to, now you have a couple of options. You can stay in half Hanuman if you're not ready to try a version of full Hanuman, or you can start to slide that front leg forward and bring your block up under your hip to support it. Beautiful. And utilize your other block to support your body upright. Excellent job. Just hold here. Now you're in supported Hanuman. We spent the practice today warming up our hips, warming up our thighs to get here. And today you may be at the highest level of the block. You know, you may be there for a few times. And then the next time you come, you lower the block down a little bit more, and so on and so forth, until you're all the way on the ground. Beautiful. Hold and breathe here. And then to release the pose, go ahead and plant that hand on the ground. Bring that leg back. And go ahead and slide that foot back. And then just come on into your child's pose. Just neutralize and release for just a moment. Now we'll take it to the other side. Planting those hands, tucking toes, lifting hips into down dog. Beautiful. Inhaling that right left leg up to the sky. Then exhaling it through for pigeon. And again, checking that back foot. Grabbing your props if you'd like. You want to just make sure that you're having a nice upright body in your pigeon pose. So your hip flexors and your outer hip are really targeted here. Beautiful. Now if you need a support under that left hip, go ahead and put it there. Breathe here. Remember, in pigeon, hip bones are forward. All of our action with our hips are forward. You don't want to bias to the right, you know, where the long leg is. You want to make sure that you're focused on hip bones being forward. Beautiful job. Breathe here, a few more breaths. And again, this pose, my body is loving this pose today. Beautiful. Now go ahead and slide those props out of the way. And press back to hands and knees. Reset those hips. Bring that left leg forward into your low lunge. Have your props handy. Come into your low lunge for a breath. Inhaling here. And exhaling into half Hanuman. And again, you're welcome to stay here to continue to maximize that hamstring stretch. If you feel you're not ready, but if you feel you're ready, begin to slide that front leg forward. Support yourself with your opposite hand and then take that left prop and slide it under the hip. Beautiful. And come into your supported Hanuman. And again, like I said, over time, you'll start with the block here, and we'll continue to revisit this pose in several practices, and we'll begin to move that block. Today, we're at the highest level. Next time, after you've done this practice a few times, it will go to the lower. Then to the next lowest. And then eventually no block, and you're in full Hanuman. But this is just an example of how to utilize your props to support you in achieving postures, finding how it feels in your body, finding what you're ready for. Beautiful. Now very slowly plant that left hand on the floor. Begin to slide that left foot back. Go ahead and move your prop out of the way. And bring that foot back. And then go ahead and sink back into child's pose. Neutralizing those hips in the stretch. Beautiful. Now come on up to Thunderbolt pose, and you're welcome to sit on a support if you'd like, or you can sit right directly on the floor. Come into your Thunderbolt pose here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. We're going to just begin to slowly sort of unwind that work we did. And go ahead and come back to hands and knees. And go ahead and slide your feet down in front of you. And again, you're welcome to have a support underneath if you find that your hips are high, or excuse me, if your knees are high, or you're welcome to just sit flat on the floor. Go ahead and just come into a nice, easy seat. I'm going to just take the last few moments as we wind down to our final rest to release those hips. Just take this time to just go ahead and breathe in deeply and exhale slowly. Go ahead and inhale and roll those shoulders up. Exhale those shoulders down and back. Inhaling up. Exhaling down and back. Beautiful. On your next inhale, go ahead and do it in the opposite direction. Roll those shoulders forward, just whatever was opposite of what you did last time. Inhaling on the up roll, exhaling on the down roll. One last time, inhale and exhale. And then just find neutral shoulders. Take your arms and go ahead and inhale your arms up. Then exhale your right arm under your left in the eagle arms. Just relaxing the body. Stretching out those shoulders, preparing for our final rest. Neutralizing the tension in our hips. And neutralizing the stretches and strengthening poses that we did today. Inhale your arms out to the side, and exhale left arm under right. Eagle arms. Feel that nice stretch, broad stretch along the shoulders. Beautiful. Go ahead. Exhale the arms out and down, and then just take a moment here and just roll your right ear down to your right shoulder. Take your left arm and just stretch it out. And if you want, introduce a little organic movement here. One more breath. And then bring that arm down. Repeat on the opposite side. Take that left ear to the left shoulder and stretch that right arm out. And again, introduce that organic movement, or if you find a place that's pretty sticky, you just want to hold it there for a minute, go for it. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring that hand back up. And just take a couple of half shoulder neck rolls. Just winding down, relaxing the body. And if you're sitting on a support, go ahead and slide off of that support. And go ahead and come on down to your back. Now have your bolster, I have a little half bolster here, but have your bolster or other support nearby and handy. If you want to utilize it here in a moment, but for right now, with feet flat on the floor, go ahead and take your feet to the edges of the mat, and then just let your knees fall in for a moment into constructive rest, and just breathe here. And you'll find that this is just a nice passive release in the hip area and lower back. And go ahead and bring those knees back up, pointed towards the sky. Your feet are still at the edges of your mat. And then inhale here, and then as you exhale your knees over to the right. And inhale and exhale to the left. Then a nice windshield wipe. And follow the rhythm of your natural breath. And again, if there's a sigh that needs a little extra love, go ahead and give it that extra time and attention that it needs. Just releasing the hips and releasing the back. All of those good stretches we did today to get to our Hanuman. Now if you have your support nearby, it can be a bolster, it can be the half bolster, it can be a block. Go ahead and lift your hips and slide your support under your hips. So you're in a nice supported bridge. And just allow your body to release here for a moment. And if it's calling to you, you can go ahead and stretch your legs out long. Just get a nice, deep, passive arch stretch. Breathe here. I don't know about y'all, but this feels so amazing. And again, if the block is too firm, you're welcome to use a bolster. If the bolster is too high, you're welcome to use a half bolster or a folded blanket in position of the block. But if you want more height, you're welcome to adjust the height of the block as well. Just depends on what works for your body. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and bring those feet back in. If you'd like, you can slide your support out, or you can keep it and just lift those feet up to the sky. Into a supported, legs up a wall. It's kind of almost a slight supported shoulder stand almost. You're also welcome, if it calls you, to go into a full shoulder stand. Beautiful. Now go ahead and bring those feet back to the floor. Slide your support out of the way. And take a moment here to bring your feet up to your hands for happy baby. Just a final release before our final resting pose. Release those hips, release that lower back. Happy baby is just a wonderful, and it also induces just a really strong sense of relaxation. So it's just kind of a wonderful all around end of practice pose. Just a standard practice, it's wonderful. And go ahead and bring your knees into your chest and squeeze. Breathe here, nice deep inhale. And then on your exhale, go ahead and stretch those legs out long and come into your Shavasana, or expression of final rest that feels good. If you need a prop, a blanket, I tend to like to have a blanket roll under my shoulders, so I have like a little bit of a fish pose going. Some people like a blanket under their back, like the passive arch we just did, or under their calves, whatever feels good. take this moment here, right now. Come into your body. And allow the floor, the ground, the earth to support you. Just release. And just feel a nice, deep, warm, relaxing flow. Start at the top of the head, down to the forehead and the cheeks. To the chin, to the neck and shoulders. Feel that warmth. Envelop your body into your chest, down your arms and into your fingers. Feel that warmth, relaxing calm into your belly and hips. And feel it warm your thighs and knees, and calves and shin, into your ankles and feet and toes. Just feel this wonderful, beautiful warmth envelop you. Feel it ignite every molecule within your body as you begin to sparkle and glow from the inside out. That sparkling glow is growing brighter and brighter with each and every breath you take. You feel this vitality and this energy, this beautiful, loving, healing ball of light just envelop the room, the walls. Feel it expand beyond the walls to the outside, to the tops of the trees, and up into the sky. And on your next inhale, start to bring a little bit of life into those fingers and into those toes. Just begin to wiggle them ever so slightly. And then if you feel ready, start to introduce a little extra movement and circle those wrists and circle those ankles. And if you're really ready, go ahead and stretch your body up long from the tips of the fingers all the way out to the pinky toe. And as you release the stretch, go ahead and turn to one side, either your right or your left. Just take this moment here, just to integrate in all that you took in today. And take your top hand and press it into the earth and come on up up to a comfortable, easy seat. And if you can, keep your eyes closed. Otherwise, soften your gaze. And you're welcome to bring your hands to your knees or to heart center. Just take this moment right now to thank yourself for taking time out of your day to go on this fun and interesting journey to Hanuman. Really challenging yourself in new ways, exploring something maybe you haven't tried before. And if you tried it, maybe you were successful in getting just a little bit farther today. Whatever it is, just thank yourself. Take this moment, thank yourself for putting aside this time just for you and you alone, to promote your health, your well-being, and helping you be the best you can possibly be. And I want to thank you for practicing with me today. I look forward to seeing you next time. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll explore another posture next week. Look forward to seeing you then. Have a wonderful day.